I don't think I ever would have saw the day that I would see like a cancellation attempt. And one of the people, I just did a mini stream inside Discord for the paid fans, and somebody brought up, it's not like anybody's going around saying what a, you know, when somebody dies, they all of a sudden become a good person and they weren't. You know what I mean? Yeah. You've seen that before. And I can imagine if somebody abused you, just how frustrating that could be. He wasn't a good guy. He fucking made my life miserable. Yeah, okay, I get that. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying he's a great guy. Not even his parents are going out of their way to say he's great. They're just saying they're hurt by all the rotten stuff that's being said, which is understandable, even if he is a rotten guy. Nobody's saying that. Like, it's not like this would almost be understandable. I can't believe this guy's legacy is gonna be doing a good guy. I don't care how much shit I take. I'm writing a Google Doc. This is the funniest cancellation of all time. This is like Weekend at Bernie's, but cancellation. Like, he's literally propping Twomad up. It's so funny. It's so funny. And if I had to guess, Jameskii's probably, I know, you know, like I know I'm burning a bridge here. It's not, I don't hate Jameskii by any stretch, but I cannot not point out how funny it is. It's not like we're like close friends or anything like that. I probably would have avoided this altogether if we were friends, you know. But it's almost like Jameskii's exactly what, especially when we interviewed Jamie Pine, exactly what Twomad is, except like maybe minus the accusations and the airsoft guns. Like that's it. Like they're socially, their entire world. There's no like both worlds. We're gonna talk about it a little bit on Lolcow on Sunday. There's sort of like two worlds in the internet world, and things don't work in the real world like they do in the internet world. What's his name found that out? Magnetar, and vice versa. But there are those that only live here, and that's when you get cool docs for dead people, you know. And it wasn't like he was super fucking honest right away. The only reason anybody paid any attention to what he was saying, because some of the stuff he's saying didn't make sense, you know. He's pointing like the bullet that was put through his so-called window, which we don't know was a bullet, by the way. And we had some gun guy come and testify here. Who knows if he's fucking telling the truth? That most rounds will shatter the glass, especially if they're close range. They have to be almost like far away. Depends on the round, depends on a lot of things. It was so important, so people I think sense this craziness. How many page document was that?
52, I think.
It's a short story. It's insane that he blamed Twomad for a random gunshot that was fired at his office and just assumed it was Twomad. Yeah, like that's bizarre. I have no, I don't even know. Like after talking to both publicly and privately, Jamie, after talking privately to Clown, I can pretty much come to the conclusion and just seeing the way that Twomad behaved publicly, probably not the best guy in the world. You know, wasn't a secret. Probably not a great person. And then, you know, you have like Dull and Dark and Clown and Nerd City and all them basically telling him like, look, you know, people are watching this shit, you know, like his family certainly don't deserve it. I'm not gonna get it anyway. I got news for them. They should just stay off the internet. I bet there's one thing they learned. I'm sure they were super happy that he's making tons of money, you know, being a clown, doing what he loved. But here's something that his parents know now that they probably, if I had to guess, didn't know: just how ruthless this business is of influencers. It's a completely ruthless, unforgiving, full to the brim with horrible people, just like Hollywood. Another group of people that can't seem to handle sex too well. And maybe, just maybe, I wonder if they're thinking we probably should have discouraged them from being an influencer, because it's insane and it's cutthroat and it's you really don't have any friends. So I thought Tom did a synopsis, because I'm not going into every detail. I'm sure Jameskii, I'm sure he made Jameskii's life a living hell. It's just hysterical. That he would do this sort of little girl type cancellation of a guy that's basically paid the ultimate punishment for his behavior. He paid the consequences, dealt with.
Hey man, what's up? No, I've been just you know, I've been covering this pretty extensively, and
how do you do it? How? I can't think how. I know why, but how?
I guess I'm not like crazy worn out by it yet. It's pretty entertaining though to see to get like the huge outrage on Twitter, and you know, I'm pretty confident in what I'm saying, so it's not like
there's people out there that I really dislike that it wouldn't affect me one way or another if they went on to the next plane. I can't imagine like screaming at the top of my lungs saying this guy was no fucking good. Like, it's so weird. Like, am I alone in this world?
It was less than 30 minutes before the public news came out. He made that tweet being like, I don't want to see any sympathy for this guy. He's a rapist, pedophile, and tried to fucking murder me. Like, that's insane.
So it's insane to think he controlled, because even, let's say he had rock solid evidence, there's always gonna be one guy, he wasn't that bad, you're a liar, you know? And that's the thing. Like, even his friends. I really highly recommend. Could you find the To Be Honest Twomad episode? Yeah, I'd like to put that in the chat. I think the best 2 insights of who this guy was, if you give a fuck, because I don't anymore, is basically my interview with Jamie Pine. Yeah, I think so, because Jamie really loved him, and Jamie knew he was sick, and he doesn't exactly say good things about him, right? He just basically says, yeah, I know who he was, but he was my friend and I loved him, and lots of people have relationships like that, you know? And listen to Dolan, listen to Nerd City, listen to Clown, you know, the people that tried to help him, tried to do everything they could for this guy. This guy was not short on people trying to help him. I don't believe that. And I think you should go check that episode out, check the Jamie Pine, and if you care, that's who he was. As fair a situation as you can give. And it's bizarre that's not enough for Jameskii. It makes him look like a psychopath.
No, exactly. Like, this guy's already guilty of being a harasser, even sexual harasser, like schizophrenic, like mental patient. But he has to go farther. It's like you have to take it to the ultimate extreme. He has to always also be an attempted murderer, pedophile, rapist. It's like, dude, is it not good enough? When is it ever going to be good enough?
But and that's the thing, man. That that's an issue he's got to deal with. Like, it sounds like he has like a real thing. Maybe he's got some, you know, girls say, I got PTSD. Ah, fuck off. Maybe Jameskii does have some like legit PTSD. Look,
I don't know if you're aware, but ever since 2019, Twomad and Jameskii had a drama back then because they used to be friends. They fell out as friends. Yeah. And they had a bizarre like drama back and forth. Twomad ended up coming out on top. And since then, he's had a personal vendetta against him. It's 2019.
And being dead isn't enough?
Nope, he doesn't want to see any sympathy. He had to completely hijack the story to make sure that like everyone was pissing on his grave as opposed to celebrating him. Pretty bizarre.
I feel like changing the name of this thing. I'm changing the name of the title. Twomad was a good guy.
Okay, buddy.
But I mean, like,
he's a liar.
No, but that's just like the craziest part is, I know you definitely didn't go over the document. I'm probably
well,
one of 50 people who's ever going to go over it.
You imagine being that? I gotta know who he was. I'm really interested. What's your insight? Yeah, I'm interested in what you have to say because I don't want to read it. You know?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I mean, he comes out 27 minutes after the guy gets announced dead. He makes a tweet saying, "I could finally say it. Twomad's a rapist, pedophile, and tried to fucking murder me, as well as preyed on a 13-year-old girl." In the document, there's no mention of this 13-year-old girl at all. Really? And the 13-year-old girl came out and said, hey, you know what? I see a lot of people trying to like use my story to go against Twomad. This isn't the case. He never had any creepy behavior with me, no sexual nature.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. You weren't aware of seeing that.
No. I wonder if my audience is super aware. Anybody that's not watching you, I can't imagine my audience is too aware of that either. I had no idea. Like, why? That's so weird, too, because, like, first of all, the statement itself, I can finally say it. We couldn't say it last week, you know? Or it's bullshit last week. You could be like, because if he did it the week before, everybody would be like, yeah, where's your evidence? I have none. So he did it, and when people say, where's your evidence? It doesn't matter, you know, now because he's gone. Like, it doesn't matter. You can't defame somebody that's not breathing.
And after this, and after the girl came out, conveniently, in his full fleshed out response, he never mentions the 13-year-old girl ever again, even though he put it in his initial statement. He got caught completely lying about this girl. And other friends, even in the friend group, said, hey, you know, I knew both these people. You know, it is weird as fuck. Apparently, they had like some Overwatch friend group online, like Discord, suspicious like friend group. Why are you even friends in the vicinity of a 13-year-old? Yeah. That's absolutely a red flag. Sure. But doesn't make him instantly a
Sure, and it also, you know, it depends on the group too, because I can imagine when I was playing H1Z1, there was a whole group of us, and I guarantee there was a few 15 and 16-year-olds in there, you know, but there was no hanging out. There was like, hey, you want to put 5 together so we can play a match, you know? That's as far as it went. Maybe it was something like that.
Yeah, you gotta show predatory behavior. You gotta show something at all. Yeah. And he just never mentioned it again because, I mean, the masses aren't even gonna question it.
I come to think of it, I played COD when he was like 16. Dude,
it doesn't mean anything on him, bro.
Yeah,
watch out for Jameskii.
Rude as yeah, right.
Don't die anytime soon.
Yeah, I think you would say like Connor and they were both teenagers, still in high school when we were playing COD. You know, like whoa, you know,
and outright, just like calling him a rapist, pedophile, and the whole like the document is literally just trust me, bro. That's the document.
I guess he just had to get that out. I mean, maybe he's not dealing with his death. like real well. Or maybe he just can't take it out. It's just that bad that he just can't take it out. And nobody, if you would ask me whether Twomad or fucking Jameskii, who came out on top on the drama, I wouldn't be able to tell you. And I pay attention to this stupid stuff.
Well, Jameskii did now. He won.
Yeah, Jameskii won.
Last one standing, bitch.
Like no one will ever, like I can't see Jameskii. Maybe he just had to spit this out because he's never really been too involved with drama. He doesn't really call out other YouTubers or anything like that. But if he was going to accuse somebody, let's say like he ran into a situation where it's like legit and he wanted to expose it online, you can't believe him. He's got no credibility. He lied about Twomad.
None. Yeah,
like none. He's got no credibility.
Yeah, and that's why, you know, I see people like, I think you even said a little bit of it too, and I see Nick saying like, dude, who really kind of cares? I mean, he's dead anyway. But it's like, yeah, that's true. It's not like a story where you're trying to vindicate someone because obviously there's nothing to be vindicated. I think it's still important to like correct the record. You know what I mean?
I agree. No.
Legacy,
I agree with that. I think the story is not Twomad was a bad guy like he thinks it was. I think the story is Jameskii telling the truth. And the more he does these docs, the more he makes these inflammatory statements, the more people want to know, is Jameskii telling the truth? So it's less about Twomad and more about like he thinks he's pushing Twomad in the spotlight in a Weekend at Bernie's way, and then things will kind of correct themselves. But really, he's pushed himself. You know,
and you know, you say like it's never good enough for him, and that's the craziest part is that he legitimately has a case. There's so many real critiques of Twomad to show he's a harasser, sexual harasser, stalker, freak who should probably be in, like, if he was still alive, mental institution, not allowed like out in the public because he's a drug addict, whatever. You know, so you have a real story. Just that isn't good enough. You also have to prescribe like every little thing to him to say he's guilty of. Pedophile, rapist, tried to murder you. A random bullet hole in my office window is now his fault too.
If that's by the way, if that's a bullet hole.
I know, right?
Yeah, if that's a bullet hole. You know,
he posted his medical records for when he had to go to the emergency room, as if like Twomad is responsible for this.
Well, here's the thing: I go to the emergency right now and said it has something to do with you said to me now. Doesn't mean anything. It just means I went to the emergency room. Yeah, I could say you said something so cruel that I had some kind of like meltdown, right? And I was freaking out, and my wife made me go to the emergency. It doesn't mean you're responsible for any of that.
That's his whole tactic, though. He's speaking in purposely vague terms for someone to assume the worst. That's his whole tactic.
And then you have to ask yourself, like, why? Because, like I said, this is like, I'm not caring about Twomad because you can't put a guy in a spotlight that's dead. I'm just thinking
he just literally hates him.
Wow. Yeah, I hope I never hate anybody that much.
Like personal vendetta, and the minute like since 2019 they had their drama publicly, he got shit on, and the moment that Twomad got accused by this Goldie Bell girl, he instantly hopped on that case and offered to pay her legal funds. That's how much he hates this guy. That's
that in itself doesn't seem so bad. If you think the guy is skipped out and there's some justice need to be had, and you want to put your money where your mouth is,
it just shows a pattern, I guess.
Yeah, that just shows a pattern.
And more just that in itself, like a pawn to get at the guy you already get a person.
Yeah, but that in itself, it would depend on what happened to him prior to that. That itself, but it's now. Everything that's happened past, they found this guy stiff next to that stupid Overwatch song playing in a fucking loop. Can you imagine? Like, that's like a movie scene, for Christ's sakes. And you read like, there he is, stiff on the fucking ground. That's not enough. That's not enough, right?
No, it's not. It's not
enough. Oh my God, he's mentally ill. You know, I'll say right now, I think James, seriously mentally ill. I mean, like, who else would do that? Who else would do it? You know,
he's like saying that, like, Twomad, you're an obsessive stalker. You're constantly talking about me. Hold on, like, this is kind of a two-way street.
Here's another.
I mean, I'm agreeing with you with Twomad, but it's also look in the mirror.
Here's another thing. What was stopping him from saying this shit?
His excuse is like the legal case, since there's an active legal thing.
That's bullshit. No, that's bullshit too. We looked into the legal case. It's a goddamn restraining order. There's no legal case. There never was.
Oh yes, like civil case or something.
Oh, he has a civil case. Why hasn't he shown any paperwork for that? He has a civil case against him since 2019.
Since 2019, no. Recently, at the TwitchCon incident, he filed a restraining order.
Yeah, they're saying that's the civil.
That's not. No, it isn't. Restraining order is like this, right? Because I have one against me. All right, you show up to court. They tell you not to go to this next to this person again, and that's it. The idea behind the restraining order is like not to to give the courts a bit of a break and not throw absolutely everybody in jail, because people are gonna have fucking domestic incidents all the time. So they have this kind of thing. It's like a big fucking warning. If you violate this, you'll go to jail. It's not a case. It's not a case. It's completely separate from things. So you get the restraining order if you violate. It's like a warning. Restraining order is a warning, right? And here's another thing. How many he's a drug addict, he belongs in jail, and he probably does. How many people do we have walking around in the United States, walking around that probably should be in jail because they're on drugs? Too many to fucking jail. So like what makes Twomad Twomad so fucking special? He's a drug addict.
And do you know the way he's twisting this? He's
What?
purposely twisting for everyone to assume the worst about this restraining order, where he said that in February it was just a matter of the police station or whatever, like filing out the paperwork to get the warrant for his arrest. But then unfortunately, Twomad OD'd and killed himself.
Well, that's the way. The restraining orders don't work that way. It doesn't even work. He's got to violate, and then they go pick him up.
Yeah. No, here's the thing, though. He had a restraining order. He then violated the restraining order. That is valid. It seems like he genuinely was going to be arrested for that. But here's the thing. Jameskii is speaking in purposely vague terms to act like he was going to be arrested for pedophilia, rape, and attempting a murder.
So he probably was going to get arrested.
Vague, so people assume that he's getting arrested for that.
That shows you how not serious it is. That's how he shows you how not serious it is, because they probably look...
violating a restraining order. That's
it's it. And they, you know what? If that came in on Friday, the cops are like, man, we'll pick him on Monday. I'm taking the weekend off. like that's how not serious it is. It would be different if this was a situation where as a guy used to, because they're really designed for couples. The reason the whole restraining order, I think, is a kind of an 80s phenomenon. The reason it all came about is these guys, they'd get arrested or something, they'd go back and kill their wives. And then in not all cases does a guy, I don't think every pushing and shoving match between a man and a woman should end up in prison. And I think everybody got sick of it. And because, first of all, the guy always gets, so they had this restraining order to kind of mitigate it a little bit. It's not what he thinks it is. And you know, it makes me think, like, he's probably lying, that he knows it's not as serious, but he's trying to tie all this other stuff to it.
Exactly. You know, he's trying to tie everything else around it. And that's why he first mentioned rape, pedophile, attempted murder. And then you mentioned, and also he was about to get arrested. So it's like, hold on, the average person looking at that, who's not going to
And he knows that. That's deliberate.
He knows they're going to assume it.
He knows it's deliberate. It's deliberate.
He's like, this is the last guy who should be spearheading.
I don't see anybody on my team. Now, me and you have different fans. I don't see anybody timeline like, oh my God, Jameskii was right. They're mostly like goofing on him for making the thing to begin with. And it sounds like it's more about him than it is about Twomad to begin with.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's all about, you know, in his document, I read through the whole fucking 52 pages yesterday. In his document, he's like complaining about, I also had to like pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in court. It's like, yeah, dude, welcome to court. You want to try to get someone locked up?
He's lying.
He said he had to go in debt for this. He had to go paycheck.
He's lying. He is lying. You know how much it costs to file a restraining order? You don't even need a lawyer to do it.
Well, maybe there's another civil case.
Maybe there is. Or maybe like the rest of the stuff is fucking horseshit. He can't show that either.
I think what it is he hired a lawyer to possibly do a civil case, and they didn't get to it yet. He was in the process of hiring a lawyer.
No, he doesn't have to pay the $100,000 now. He just has to pay the retainer, and it's done. And they'll tell me it's $100,000 right off the bat. For what? You can't sue a guy for being a pedophile. It's a criminal offense.
This is why I think Jameskii is so mad, because he went into debt. Apparently, he lost so much fucking money, and Twomad's just dead now. I don't know if he's going to get money.
If he went to debt, it's probably for another reason. I don't believe for a minute
he said he had to like sell his car or something.
Oh, fucking it's horseshit. Yeah, and he's a pedophile.
This is all about himself.
Yeah, it's all about
this document.
I guarantee everything you just heard is a fabrication of some kind. That makes zero sense.
I wouldn't be surprised. He has no credibility.
Yeah,
he completely destroyed his credibility. And
well, he's supposed to be. He's like Twomad. He's supposed to be a comedian, so maybe that doesn't matter to him. I mean, he doesn't have to do this stuff, so I'm sure he'll be fine, I guess. But who would want the shadow of Twomad hanging over him the rest of it? And it will. Like, that's another thing too. If he'd have kept his mouth haunting him, yeah, exactly. If he'd have kept his mouth shut, now Jameskii's the guy who hated Twomad for the rest of his life. Because every time you're gonna bring up Jameskii from now on, what did you bring up Jameskii before? Like, do you know they way? That was him, right? Now it's the Twomad guy.
Do you know they way to Twomad's grave?
Let's dig him up and yell at him. Jesus Christ.
And I know I've probably been like pretty fucking annoying on Twitter, but like after he put out this tweet, I was scrolling through the document really quick and I saw there was no mention of this 13-year-old girl. So I come into his replies and I'm like, why is there no mention of this 13-year-old girl you said he preyed on in your first tweets? Instantly blocked.
You drama whore.
I mean, granted, I don't really, I am doing this for just content. That's very much known, but like, it raised some questions. I mean, I'm sure like
how dare you question
him? Just thinks I'm annoying, but like, come on. I mean, if you're saying you preyed on a 13-year-old girl and there's no mention in your 52-page document, I think I'm not just like calling him a retard in his comment section. I'm legitimately asking.
I think that both of them are really schizophrenic, and I think Twomad was just more than him. I think they're both nuts. They're both similar type of creators. I think they're both insane, right? And then Twomad probably won his little battle with him because he was crazier than Jameskii.
I mean, I think you got to be like a certain type of person too to like sacrifice like a good deal of your life to this kind of thing. This apparently went on for like 4 or 5 years, and Jameskii apparently spent a whole bunch of fucking money on this just over like this Twomad guy. I don't know. I think like you also got to be a specific type of person to not be a cop, not be any kind of investigator, and dedicate that much time and money out of your life to this.
Like all the evidence that we're supposed to like and another thing is the belief that you can control the narrative. That's weird too. Like there's always going to be some outlier, even if you're right, that's gonna say fucking horrible shit. Like, and he's like, I just want to make sure this never gets, like, he's chasing a dragon. He's never gonna catch it. You know.
I think he's just so he's so convinced he's like morally righteous for this, and that's why this.
Yeah,
like,
imagine he just looks like an idiot.
Doing a really good thing.
Looks like an idiot that fucking is obsessed with a dead guy. That's what he looks
completely.
like. All right, that's probably it.